Hello, 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 hello. How you doing,
Paula,
Chris? How you
for the,
doing? How you
for
doing?
the day in paradise. I want to ask you, how
What's
does
up?
this new camera look? I got a new camera. I'm trying to be official.
Your camera looks great. Your
This
camera
is for
looks
you,
great.
chat. So this is
The
for
camera
you.
looks great.
I'm good though. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I am. I just found out. So for some reason, our LinkedIn connection did not go. So can you give me one quick second to figure
Yes,
out
sir.
why our LinkedIn connection did not go? Because I have
Do,
no clue why our
do we
LinkedIn
have a
connection.
do we have a technical difficulties?
We have a technical
Mm,
difficulty. I don't know what's going on.
It's
My
okay.
LinkedIn connection did not go for some
It
reason. But hopefully
happens.
people can see us on YouTube and we'll figure out what happened on LinkedIn. I mean, it's been we're live now on LinkedIn. Okay, so
We're better. We're back.
hey, we're back. We're
Yeah.
back. Okay. So what happened there? Sorry for those who were trying to get to us on LinkedIn, but now it's saying we're back. So hopefully we're live everywhere. And we are. I can see it. Woo! So
Yeah.
welcome to Keeping You Wise by Keeping It Real, where we bring authentic and real conversations to fuel your soul so that you can share it with others. And welcome to our 4th episode, where we
Yeah.
will discuss unleashing your power, finding freedom through letting go. We will be back in a moment. Well, hello, hello, hello again. My name is Paula Bell, and I am here with my wonderful host, Chris Solomon, also known as Solo. How are
Yes,
you doing
ma'am.
today?
I'm
How are you
good.
doing
I
today?
always love team. If you or Chad, if you don't know why we do the video up front, it's so we could ow now brown cow. We got to warm up our voice, and the ow now brown cows are crucial for that. So I'm loving the intro video. I'll just throw that out there.
I love it. I've never heard that before, Chris. That's
Ow
interesting.
now brown cow.
I don't even know if I can say that, so I'm not going to. But what I am going to talk about is some disclaimers. Just need to put this out here. We do have 2 special guests joining us who Chris will introduce here in a bit. But I just wanted to say we are not therapists. We do not offer any medical advice. We are not trained, qualified, or able to diagnose or treat any form of mental illness or disorder.
Nope.
Some topics may be triggering, so be prepared for that. The purpose of this video cast is to have real, authentic conversation that provides wisdom to us all. So please interact with us via the chat. We would love to hear your comments. And if you have any questions, post them in the chat as we will bring them forward. They might even come up on the screen. You never know. So we want that engagement. Now, these episodes will be around 45 minutes to an hour. They're real laid back. We try and do these monthly. And if you want to follow us so you can keep up with that, you can follow us on YouTube. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, and we will provide that information at the very end of the pod. So, Chris, I'm going to kick it over to you because we have 2, not 1 this time, 2 special guests that will be joining us today. Would you mind telling us who those guests are?
Yeah, and I'm excited because the whole thought of unleashing your power and finding freedom through letting go is something that most people it seems a little counterintuitive, but I think that these 2 guests are excellently positioned to kind of give some insight on this. Janae being the first one. Janae James is a master life coach. You know this, Paula. Her focus is in guided meditation and goal setting. She grew up in Lexington, Kentucky, where she actually enlisted in the Air Force.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Yes, yes.
And that was right after high school. So she was in the service in the armed forces soon. Loving others and pushing them to be the best version of themselves through fitness and life coaching are really 2 of her main goals for everyone she encounters, including every one of you who are listening. She takes pride in her work and strives to be a positive example for others to follow. And her biggest achievements in her own admission are her children. She's a great mom.
Oh,
she's awesome.
Oh,
I know, right? Like all of that and biggest achievement is still your family. That's
Exactly.
that's top
Exactly.
tier right there.
Exactly. So let's see what Janae looks like. Ah, there she go. There she go. There's
That
Janae. Lady J in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I hope I did you right on your bio.
And Lady J, you're on mute.
The old
There we go.
Nice.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for joining. Who's our next guest? Who's our next guest? I can't even talk.
We also have Brian Miller, my man B Miller, someone who's super close to me and I consider a great friend and colleague. Brian is a highly experienced sales professional with over 15 years of sales experience. He spent the last 13 years specifically working in Medicare. He's a well-respected authority in the field and loves helping people, especially our elderly population, which I think is just really admirable. He embodies the qualities of servant leadership, always putting the needs of his team and clients first. And I've literally witnessed this every day for him working. He demonstrates integrity, honesty, and commitment in all his interactions, earning the trust and respect of his colleagues and clients alike. And his role specifically as a senior manager of learning development. And he's responsible for implementing the training programs and for all of the employees to improve their skills, improve their knowledge. And he earned this title by working it from the bottom top. So he's not one of those, I came in at the top, he started from the bottom, now he's here type. So a decade later of experience in management and leadership brought him here. He's got a proven track record. He's exceeded targets and driving results. He's passionate about culture, about learning, about people. And outside of work, Brian is also passionate about his family. He's a father, he's a husband, and he dedicates his time and resources to a bunch of projects, but mostly his family and his loved ones, Janae, similar to you. So I would love for you all to meet B. Miller.
Welcome, Brian.
Thanks, Paula. Thanks, Solo. Quite an introduction there. Gosh, I don't even know what to say to that. Appreciate it.
Say thank you, okay?
Thank you.
Right? You're welcome.
Much praise. I'm happy to be here. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you, man.
Yeah, most definitely happy to have you. And this one's going to be a little bit different. Chris and I, every time we do these video casts, our goal is to get better and better and better, to bring in great people and to do great things. But we're going to do something a little bit different today. So our topic is all about unleashing your power, finding freedom through letting go. And it's really, really, really important sometimes that you have to let go of things, let go of people, let go of thoughts, let go of beliefs. But before we even get into that, I want to share a video clip. And then we're going to have some conversation after this video clip. So watch this.
It takes courage to let things go. Things that hurt you, things that wounded you, things that made you bleed. Things that where you suffered loss, promotions you didn't get, houses you lost, men who left, women who betrayed you. It takes courage to let it go. You have to have enough faith to believe that what is in front of you is greater than what was behind you.
Woo, what is in front of you is greater than what was behind you. But I need to hear from my guests. What do you think in regards to that video and how does it play into letting go?
Now, before you answer.
Uh-oh.
Just giving you guys extra time to think. You're welcome. I'll say that this is kind of cool. I like this format, Paula, because none of us knew what this video was going to be. We just hit it. And now we got to articulate our thoughts live, which is awesome. So who wants to start? Should we ladies first? Janae, what'd you think about that video?
Sounds good.
That video was very short but powerful. I mean, by the time it ended, I was like, whew, is there a little mist happening? But I say that because it really just reminds me of that's like the story of my life.
What do you mean?
So I'm divorced, and it was not a very it was not a
Amicable.
very happy, yes, exactly, a very amicable relationship. However, I got 4 beautiful children out of the deal.
Nice.
And thinking back when I was going through that whole process, it was hard to let go, but seeing what is in front of me now and where I'm headed truly is greater than what I even imagined. And I would not have even scratched the surface of this had I not let go.
What did you let go of?
I let go of what I thought my life was supposed to be. I let go of some control of where I tried to just direct my life. No, we're doing this. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And then you keep meeting that resistance and I'm not listening, right? To that. Nope, that's not the route I'm supposed to take. So unfortunately, you have to go through those storms when you don't quite listen, right? And then comes the beauty.
I like that. I like that. How about you, Brian? What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, hearing Janae say that is actually close to heart because I've got a family member, my sister-in-law, that's going through the exact same thing. She too has 4 kids, recently separated, and the attachment to what she thought things should have been was probably the most difficult thing for her to let go of. And it took the encouragement of myself, my wife, basically our entire family to step behind her and say, we got you. We're going to help you through this. And over the last year, she's gotten back into school. She has completed 2 years of school in a single year by doubling up on classes.
Oh, wow.
And is poised to get a 4-year degree in just 2 years.
Nice.
And it was the support of everyone around her, her family, her friends, that really helped bridge the gap and help her understand that she could accomplish great things. But the first step was letting go of her spouse. So to hear Janae share that, it speaks to my heart because we just went through that situation. We opened our house to her and her 4 kids. They all lived with us. With my wife and my daughter over the last about a year ago. They were here for almost 9 months while they got back on their feet. And so hearing that along with the video, a lot of times letting go is blood, sweat, and tears. It's tough to let those things go, especially when you feel so invested in something, or maybe you have been invested. You put so much effort into making something work. How do you, release that grip and just watch it float away? And oftentimes it's the future, knowing what's ahead of you, that's going to help you do that.
Yep. It's funny. I love what you just said, both of you, because I don't remember what it was, but all too often when you think of letting go, you think of like a relationship, right? And I remember hearing this when I was in a relationship that I had to let go of. And it's when you stop chasing the wrong things, you let the right things catch you, right? It's like one of those kind of things. But I find that it's kind of not only just relationships, but it's really everything. Like every year in January, we make a New Year's what?
Resolution.
Right? Like, what's the big goals? We're gonna do it this year. We're gonna pick up the gym and we're gonna start working out every day and we're gonna save our money and we're gonna ball so hard motherfuckers can't find us. Honestly, if I'm honest with myself, I don't have no business picking up any other habits until I put down my bad habits. Like if I just focused solely on stop and not doing the things that are bad for me, the relationships that are poisonous to me, the things that I am used to doing that I can't let go of but should, if I just focused on just that, life would skyrocket and I wouldn't have to make a New Year's resolution or set big goals because the goals would just be that much easier to find. Because when you stop chasing the wrong things, you give the right things a chance to catch up to you. So I really do feel like this whole letting go piece and having the courage to do that, because it does take courage. It's hard, to your point, Brian, to let go of something you've invested in so much, especially, Janae, to your point, like a marriage. You've done everything to make it work. But I bet standing on the other side of it, it was probably one of the best things that happened to you, right?
Absolutely.
You know? So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Paula, what do you think?
Woo! Now look. Talking about letting stuff go. So I had the opportunity this past weekend to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma for a Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated Midwestern Region Conference. Now, I went to college, right? I went to college in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I went to Oral Roberts University. And what a lot of people don't know about me, I'm going to put this out here on socials, it's going to be crazy, is that when I was at ORU, I tried to end it all.
Oh, damn.
I went back to that same spot this past weekend. It was so liberating.
Was it crazy?
It was freeing. Ooh. It was so liberating because to me, it was, number one, it took courage for me to come out here and even go to this spot. But I am glad I didn't have the courage back then to finish what I had started.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
So I had it on both sides, and it was so crazy, but it was so liberating. It was so freeing. Not only was I was grieving a friend as well who had passed away, but I was also saying, if I would have done what I would have done back then, I wouldn't have the beautiful children I have. I wouldn't have the wonderful friends and family that I have. So from a courage perspective, courage is no punk. Courage is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Courage is hard when you have to get up. And I moved halfway across the country, not having any family because I was going through a divorce as well. That's no punk. You don't know if you want to make it or not. You're in survival mode. So the courage, and if everybody has it. So if you go back and you just think of what you've done in your life, at some point you've been courageous, right? But I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for it. And think about it and just remember from it. So I definitely think in order to let go, you're going to have to be courageous and you're going to be uncomfortable.
And to your point, courage is hard. I've always found that sometimes it's easier just talking about the let go to move forward. It's supposed to focusing on the move forward as opposed to focusing on having courage. I like to focus on the letting go or focus on the opposite because it's easier to know what you're not a lot of the times to tell you what you are as opposed to just saying, oh, I'm courageous. It's like, I'm feeling this kind of hard. So what do you all think the opposite of courage is? What is the opposite of courage?
Fear.
Fear?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the actual definition, opposite of courage, is cowardice. So when you put it in that context, it's like, well, I ain't no coward. Something's going to do it, right? Because I don't want to be a coward more than I'm scared of being courageous.
However, people are very comfortable.
It's true.
It's true.
This is true.
As humans, we don't like to go into the unknown. So it's one of my favorite sayings. It's not my saying, but one of my favorite phrases is "Get comfortable with being uncomfortable."
It's your saying now. You heard it here first.
Is it? and I mean, if you think about it, as human beings, we don't typically venture out to uncharted waters.
Yeah,
we're gonna stay where we're comfortable. Where the things that we know, that's where we're going to stay, even though we're here, we're in it, it sucks, it's terrible, we know it's awful, and there's a possibility that there's an amazing opportunity over here in these other uncharted waters, but we're not even going to go for it. We're not even going to think about it. Because we don't know exactly what's over there, but we know that this sucks, this is normal, this is what we know, so we're going to stay here. It's terrible.
I'm scared. When I was a kid, I was scared of the dark. So I feel you. I wasn't scared of the monster. I wasn't scared of the thing, but I was scared of the dark because the unknown, you come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. So to your point, even though it sucks right here, it must be better than the dragon that's over there in the corner that's about to eat me up if I get out of my bed right now. Speaking from a perspective of a 5-year-old, but I feel you. Brian,
yeah, I was going back to kind of Paula's story about, that feeling, being able to go back to that spot and relive that moment and think back to that time. Perspective is always interesting in the fact that when I hear Paula tell this story, the thought that comes to my mind is maybe way back then you had the courage to not go through with that
Ah,
True.
rather than the
True.
cowardice to turn away from it.
That's true.
And
That's
so when
true.
you get to look back on it now, all these years later, you had that perspective, that,
Mhm.
20-year later perspective that you didn't have when you were young. And I think a lot of times we often think, man, what would I say to myself if I could go back 15, 20 years? What would I
Right.
tell myself? Would I approach things the same way if I had that wisdom? So when I hear you say that, it brings back the thought, maybe you were courageous in that moment
I love
to
it.
turn away from the end all be all.
Let me
That's
ask you this.
fair. That's fair.
Let me ask you this, Paula. What would you tell
Mhm.
your 15-year ago self? The you, Paula, and not today.
I probably would have slapped myself and said, "Girl, get yourself together. Get your life together. It's not that serious. You're making this. This is as deep as you think. You need to actually. It goes into the next video. Actually that's a great segue into the next video. This is what I would tell myself.
All right, hit us.
Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. See, your unwillingness to forgive another person is like you sipping the poison, waiting on them to die. You can't sip the poison of unforgiveness and expect them to die.
If you don't learn how to forgive, you cannot live. You cannot thrive. You cannot move forward. And you will always suffer.
So what would I tell myself? I need to forgive myself. And I need to forgive all of those that did me wrong. Not for them, but for me. That's what I would tell myself.
What do you mean when you say forgive yourself? I think that's powerful. Can you go into that? What do you mean?
So, there are many times we hold on to things and we are sometimes our worst critic.
I know I
And
am.
self-sabotaging and the limiting beliefs that we put on ourselves and the pressure that we put on ourselves, we don't need to. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to be gentle with ourselves. So I want to forgive myself for putting that much pressure on me. I want to forgive myself for not allowing me to just be and to just live. I want to forgive myself for allowing other people to dictate my divine purpose, to dictate how I should live, to dictate how I should act, to dictate how I should behave, to dictate how I should respond.
Yeah.
And instead, I just need to be me, the unique individual that I was created to be. I just need to be me. And I need to forgive myself for not allowing myself to be my authentic self.
Chills.
I know, right? That's powerful. I was just
Wow.
thinking I need to forgive myself for spending so much money on DoorDash.
I do
Every time it's a whole trap out here. What is happening? Yes.
I appreciate you, Paula, because your thinking is deep, and I feel like you're right. That was deep. What about you? What do you, anything that you'd forgive yourself for, or tell your 15-year ago self?
When I think of forgiveness and hearing them say forgiving yourself, I think that's the hardest thing to do. Is it's easy to forgive someone else, but it's difficult to forgive yourself for your own actions. And so I think a lot of times people are caught in the situation. I've known people that feel obligated to help someone because that person helped them at some point in their life. And that other person, no matter how often you help, no matter how much you do to support that individual, they never allow you to feel like what you've given to them is enough.
Right.
And you feel trapped to continue to give, to continue to invest, and to continue to do these different things. And you have to forgive yourself for what you're getting ready to do.
Yeah.
And that is let them go and move on.
Yep. I love that. Janae, were you going to say something?
I think it's important to note that not everybody that started on this journey with you is supposed to end the journey with you.
Can you say that one more time for the people in the back who didn't hear you right quick?
Right.
Not everybody who started this journey with you is going to end this journey with you. And it's really important to understand that you have to allow yourself to release things and let things go. And when I say things, I also mean people, because you're not going to have space for what is coming to you. And it kind of circles back to what Chris was saying. So what really is popping into my head right now is that Erykah Badu song. And when I was a kid, I loved this song, but I actually didn't know exactly what she was talking about. But
Sing it,
now
Janae.
I'm like, oh, but
Sing
it's
it.
Bag Lady.
Lady.
It's Bag Lady.
I knew it.
Listen. And I was like, wait a minute. I had no idea what exactly she was talking about. But now I'm like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Sis is out here like really telling you things. And obviously as a kid, I just wasn't even paying attention. But circling back, you have to understand that if you don't release things, it is going to fester in other ways in your life.
Yep.
And the biggest part, especially what we're seeing nowadays, is depression, anxiety. And I'm not diagnosing anybody, but that we're starting to see that. And if you just reflect on your own self, when you don't let things go, you don't feel as good. Physically, you don't feel as good. Your health is going to start to decline because you are holding in. It's like harboring all of this waste that needs to be removed, but you are actively choosing to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Even though it's not good for you.
Yep.
Yeah. You're actively choosing to experience anger or upset or pain because you're actively choosing to think and remember and punish that person who did that evil thing to you, thinking that that poison is going to end up killing them, right?
I'll teach them. I'll be mad at them forever. Meanwhile,
right?
they're over here living life.
They ain't even thinking about you, right?
Right.
They ain't even thinking
Don't
about
even
you.
realize, what they did to you. They don't care what they did to you. And you're over here just mad, missing out on your own life, literally losing out on your life for what?
Forgiveness, like the best definition of forgiveness that I've ever had, because I always kind of had an issue with forgiveness. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm supposed to just say, oh, what you did was cool? Like, what do you mean? I'm just supposed to let you come back in my life and do it again? And it's not that. Forgiveness is not you giving the person a pass. Hey, what you did was totally fine. I forgive you. It's not you saying, hey, you know what? I know you screwed me once. Shame on you. But hey, come screw me again and come back in my life. I forgive you. Forgiveness is you giving up the right in your own mind to punish that person for what they did to you. You no longer get to say, these motherfuckers did all this and can't believe it. I hope they fall in a ditch, break their ankle. Oh, this person, I can't believe they did that. They're just terrible, yada, yada. Because if you think about it, to your point, Janae, you're just practicing negativity. You're practicing negative thoughts. You're practicing poison. And that poison is just going to end up festering. And it's like you got all this trash in your mind and you don't think some flies are going to come. You don't think some bacteria and some mold's going to grow. You don't think that that's going to affect other places of your life. And it just will. So I love this just conversation about letting go to go forward, because we talked about letting go people. We talked about letting go our own right to punish others or think about things in our past that we haven't been able to. We think about letting go of our own missteps, the guilt that we have because we didn't juke left when we should have, or we didn't duck or take the opportunity when we could have. I think it's pretty powerful. So,
I think a lot of times we decide not to do the right choice in favor of the euphoria we get from the wrong choice.
what do you mean?
And it kind of takes me back to, I was a smoker for, probably 20 years.
Me too.
And longer than that now that I think about it. And I just quit back in February.
Congratulations.
We talked about New Year's resolutions. Many years I'd put that one down, and many years that piece of paper, got lost the very next day, and I never looked at it again.
Nah.
This time, my daughter, encouraging me, said, "I want you to quit by my birthday." So I gave her that. I gave her that gift. So anyway, in that moment, knowing that it's bad for you, knowing that it potentially is going to kill you at some
Mm-hmm.
point in time in the future, you still forego the right decision to quit and put it down in favor of, oh, just one more. Just one more pack, one more
Yeah.
cigarette,
Yeah.
one more 5 minutes outside. Hey,
Yeah.
that's my break. I can still remember myself giving like excuses to why I'm not. Well, that's my time. I
Yeah.
don't get any me time. So my time is 5 minutes outside every hour.
Yep.
Right. It's that and the third. And getting rid of that now just feels great.
Yeah.
And you oftentimes don't know the consequences of your actions until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
So this weekend we had a family reunion. My grandmother and grandfather came from Austin, Texas, up here, and I
Nice.
got to see them. My grandma, she was a full-time smoker until she was 40 years old, quit at 40, has COPD and chronic emphysema
Oh man.
because of her smoking years ago. And even though she's almost 90 years old now, 40 years later, 40 plus years later, she's paying for it now for the actions that she had because she wanted that moment of bliss in the moment. And so it really became full circle for me when I'm playing with my daughter out there. She's interacting with her and she can't take more than, 25 or 30 steps in an entire minute or she's out of breath.
Winded.
She can't move. She can barely pick things up. She can barely move around. And, it really makes me think about, man, should I have let this go earlier? Should I
Mhm.
have let it go sooner? Is this the life I'm going to live? And so it's just another example. Examples come time and time again where it shows you that the decisions that you make today are going to impact your life forever.
Yeah. Did you say chronic emphysema?
Chronic emphysema.
Dude, chronic emphysema? That must have been that Indo.
What the what?
Yeah.
I
But
don't
in
know about
all
that, Zoe. She never
seriousness,
shared that part of her life. But,
in all seriousness, you're right though, right? Like it feels good in the moment, but it hurts you in the future. Like it feels good to punish someone in your mind when it comes to, the whole forgiveness thing. It feels good to not do the thing that's courageous because the courageous thing is scary. It feels good to hit the cigarette. It feels good to watch the Netflix. It feels good to do the thing that feels good. But usually the thing that feels good now and hurts you later is obviously the wrong choice. But the thing that hurts now, and Brian, to your point, feels good later, because later is now for you with the cigarettes, is the right choice. It's what Tamian always tells us, Paula, a guest a couple podcasts back. He says you can't avoid pain.
Right.
You can't avoid
Yes.
pain. Pain will find you.
Yep.
But you can choose your pain. You can choose the pain of discipline. The discipline of forgiveness, the discipline of quitting the smoking, the discipline of getting your butt up and going and doing some activity or eating the salad as opposed to the cake. You could
Right.
choose the pain of discipline, or
A
you
tough
could
choice.
be subject to the pain of regret. Tough choice.
If I had a cheeseburger right now.
Right? The difference is that discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs a ton.
Mhm.
And I think that that's I think that that's really true. And Brian, to your point, with the smoking specifically, I was a smoker too. And one thing that I noticed is that until I put that down, nothing else could get picked back up. And I say that because my self-identity was tied up into the inability to quit doing something that I didn't want to do. Every time I sparked up, I'd be like, I shouldn't be smoking this. This is going to kill me, bro. I shouldn't be smoking this. I'm setting a bad example for my son. I shouldn't smoke this. I smell like crap, teeth falling out of my head, hurting my lungs. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm going to quit. And then an hour later, maybe next hour. And I created an identity to where I didn't believe me. I was a liar. I'm going to quit. I don't. I'm going to quit. I don't. I'm going to quit. I don't. 20 of those decisions, a pack of cigarettes later, I have 20 excuses in my mind subconsciously that you don't do what you say you're going to do. So when I said, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow, the gym tomorrow, you're going to go to the gym like you're going to quit smoking, right, bro? Whatever. Sleep in. I'm going to start eating healthy. Healthy? Just like you're going to stop smoking cigarettes? Eat the cheeseburger. So I couldn't believe me until I put down the cigarettes and did the thing that I know I had to do. And when I put the thing down, it just opened up all this space. Now I can do the thing. man, I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow. Hell yeah, you are. Just like you put them cigs down. Good job, bro. You know what? I'm gonna be disciplined and organized at work. Hell yeah, you are. Just like you put them cigs down. Good job. You could do anything. So it kind of is this. If you hold on to these habits or these bad things, you'll convince yourself that you're a liar. You can't believe you. Your identity is that of someone who's not to be trusted. And then when you tell yourself you're going to do something, that subconscious will kick in and say, no, you're not. So you got to put it down to move forward a lot of the time. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Brian.
Yep.
So you know what? I was going to play a video clip, but y'all killed it because you talked about letting people go. So we already had the conversation, which was going to be the next thing, right? But I do want you to hear this audio clip. And then I want us to have a conversation and give our audience some advice on how, after you hear the audio clip, on how you feel you can help them implement what's being told in the audio clip. Now, some of you all might recognize this voice. And here we go.
Listen, I put everybody that come in my life in the category of a tree. Some people are like leaves on a tree. The wind blow, they over here. They unstable. The blow the other way, they over here. Ain't nothing. Season change, they wither and die. They gone. That's all right. That's some people. Most people in the world are like that. They just there to take from the tree. They ain't there to do nothing but take and give shade every now and then. That's all they can do. But don't get mad at people like that. That's who they are. They ain't gonna never be nothing. That's what they put on this earth to be, but be what they are, a leaf. Some people are like a branch on that tree. You gotta be careful with them branches too, because they'll fool you. They'll get there and make you think they're a good friend and they're real strong, but the minute you step out there on them, they'll break and leave you high and dry. But if you find you 2 or 3 people in your life that's like the roots at the bottom of that tree, you are blessed, because that's them the kind of people that ain't going nowhere. They ain't worried about being seen. Don't nobody have to know that they know you. They ain't got to know what they doing for you. But if them roots wasn't there, that tree couldn't live. You understand? And they ain't got a tree can have 100 million branches, but only a few roots down at the bottom to make sure it get everything it need. I'm telling you something. When you get you some roots, hold on to them. But the rest of them, let it go. Just let it go. Let folks go. Listen, I put everybody that come in my life in the category of a tree. Some people are like leaves on a tree. The wind blows.
So one other thing that he says that I think is really cool is, and this that was Tyler Perry playing Medea, if you don't know.
I thought that was Obama.
You're funny.
No?
You're funny.
It's powerful. I'm just
You're funny. You're funny. But another thing that he mentions is you have people who are in your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And when you start confusing them seasonal people with lifetime expectations,
like Janae said,
that's when you start having some issues. So let's talk about this a little bit. What did you feel about the audio, and what is some advice that we can give to our audience based off of your and my life experiences, right? What's some advice that we can give to help individuals navigate?
I'll jump in, Paula. This hits home for me. I'll come out and just say, I don't have a ton of friends. Most of my childhood friends are those leaves or those limbs, people that in the moment seemed like they were with me, 100% of the way, and were going to have my back at every time. And when I needed them, they were going to be there. And I found out the hard way that wasn't the case. My best friend throughout my childhood and into my early adulthood, who I won't name them here, but it took me a while to see who they were. I had a rental house that I was renting. I was paying all my own bills. I had my job. I was working. I was doing all these different things. I was putting food in my pantry, the whole nine. Everything that I did, I was doing for me. But guess what? I was also doing for them. They were living in my house. They were eating my food. They were drinking. They were running up my utilities. They were an in-home resident that wasn't contributing at all to my life. And it took time, a few years, in fact, for me to eventually see that. And so I had to let him go. Another good friend of mine through my young adulthood, same type of situation. He contributed, was a roommate. He had his own job, but was there for him. In moments when he needed me, I was right there by his side every step of the way. But in the moments that I needed him most was the times he wasn't there. In fact, it almost seemed as if they were purposefully not there when they sensed I was getting ready to need them to be there.
Mm.
And it really
Wow.
hurt. It tore me up inside, and it realized that I had to rely on myself and those that were the roots in my life. My wife, my best friend, my brother, who's always been there. No matter what, he's gone out of his way to make sure that I'm, taken care of. Even in times where helping me was going to hinder him, he would still do it because that's what family does.
It's awesome.
And so I think about, how do you put these things into practice? What is it that helps you make these decisions? For me, it's always been the future. It's been other people that I see, whether it's idols, role models, family, friends, people that have demonstrated to be successful even in times of adversity. And when put in similar situations, do they possess the things that I think I need to have myself? And if they
Mhm.
don't, is it hindering them? Why is their life so much better than my own? Or why do they seem so much happier than I am when they don't even have the thing that I feel I need to have?
Mm.
And so I relish in what I see in those individuals and how they live their lives. And that's what empowers me to make the decision to let things go.
It's awesome.
Nice. Very nice. How about you, Lady J?
I mean, mic drop right there, but but from my personal experience, I mean, Brian, me too. I have not always had a lot of friends. I still don't even have a lot of friends. And I've come to a place of peace where I'm okay with that. Growing up, I so longed to be a part of like the popular, crew.
Me too.
And I just, I wanted to fit in. And it's taken me some years, but I now understand that I was never meant to fit in because I was never even in that forest. Okay, going back to that phrase from Tyler Perry is, I was never even in that forest. So I definitely had no business being part of that tree.
Ooh, I got you. Yeah.
So I now understand that these folks never meant anything for me, even though I tried to have them in my life. And there have been several times I have stepped out on those branches, and I've definitely fallen from some high places.
Yeah.
And it's okay, because broken bones heal,
Mm-hmm.
and you grow back stronger. So I say that to say, you really do have to practice discernment in who you allow in your space, and try not to let, those leaves that wither up and die, that toxicity, to penetrate those roots.
Love that. Bones do heal, as long as you take 3 weeks and don't go to a step class.
I knew you had to bring up something about my broken bones.
Janae, I actually really like what you said there. We're not part of the group because we were never supposed to be there. We are the red oak tree that lives for 1,000 years in the sea of pine trees that live a couple hundred. As they fall by the thousands, we stand out and make the difference and reach for the sky. That's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate your knowledge of different tree types. I think I had an oak tree too. It's like, oh, oak tree, and they're the bushes. The bush, you get another tree to compare to. You hit us with the pines. I appreciate that. I'll say this. First off, Brian, I don't appreciate you telling people that I used to live with you and eat up all your food. Okay? Look, I'm trying to get better. I'm just teasing. That wasn't me. But I do think that, Janae, to your point, you have discernment about people who are in your space. I know this might come as a shock to you all in the audience, me being as extremely handsome and super cool as I am. But that was a joke. But I'm a nerd.
Clearly.
I'm a nerd. And I watch Star Trek. And my man, Dr. Spock, said something that it stuck with me for a long time. He said, constant exposure will always result in some form of contamination. So you being constantly exposed to people who are, for example, dope boys, you're going to end up doing drugs. You hang around the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. You hang out with people that are successful long enough, you're going to have some success. So you have to be very intentional. And to your point, Janae, have discernment in who you keep around you. So if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for us. Like, we need you to be the best you can be. Like, I needed Elon Musk to make $1 billion so he could start sending NASA astronauts back to the space station and build a Tesla. I drive a Tesla. Thank God he became all he needed to be, because I ain't trying to drive the store. I'm trying to hit that autopilot. And the same goes for all of the people that are in here. We have to actualize the best versions of ourselves, because the rest of the world needs us to be the best that we can be, because the things that we have in our heart and the ideas that we have in our minds will never come to fruition unless we're the best, strongest version of ourselves. And to do that, we have to let go of all the stuff that's weighing us down. We have to surround ourselves with the type of people that push us forward and lift us up. And we have to just do it, right? Even though it's hard, even though you have to have courage. So I appreciate that Tyler Perry skit. I appreciate your comments. Janae, Bryan, you're wise individuals. And Paula, you will be and always be a mentor and someone I look up to. And I just appreciate being in this room with you, Roots, because your roots are going down deep. So if you guys want to hang out, I don't have very many friends either.
You know, the one piece of advice that I'm going to give people that I had to learn, and this is probably hard for many people, you have got to love yourself first. It all starts with you. So if you aren't, how can I say this? If you don't believe in your own self and you're not strong in your own self, right? Back to your discernment, Janae, you're going to pick up people who are going to fill those voids.
Yeah.
And that's when you get into trouble, because you're having people fill voids for you that really they shouldn't be filling. You just got some self-introspection and self-reflection work to do. But for some reason, you scared to do it, or you have fear, or you're scared of what's going to come out. But at the end of the day, if you don't do that work, you're still not going to be, to your point, Chris, your optimal self. Yep. You're still not going to be a benefit to others. Yep. And, you know, somebody might just need you to be their root. Yeah. But you can't be their root because you are not grounded yourself. You have things that you have to work through. So take time to do some self-care, some self-reflection, some self-introspection. You may not like what you see, but nobody actually needs to even know you're doing it. That's the beauty of it. It's just a conversation with yourself. It's just a reflection of yourself. Like Michael Jackson said, man in the mirror, look at yourself and see what you like. And then let people go. That might be your family. Now this is bad. I've heard this from many of people. Some people have friends that are closer to them than their family members are. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They've had to let go of family. They've had to let go of family, and they have other friends who treat them like family. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay, because we all change and we grow. But to your point, you don't need a lot of people to be around you. And I have I actually have a pretty expansive network. So I can't say I don't have a lot of people, but I have a very small circle. There are only certain people who I tell my business to. I might have a massive.
She's like, don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted. We might be friends on LinkedIn and on Facebook, but you're not going to know my personal business. I'm just going to put that out there. That's for those people that I know who have my back and my best interests at heart. Because some people only want to get close to you to destroy you.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch those people, because they do not have your best interests at heart. They just want to get close enough to you so they can figure out what you're doing, strategize against you, and take you down.
Damn, that's true. Yep.
So you have to watch that, and that's where the discernment and all comes in as well. And I 100% agree with that. And I've been through all that. I've had people who backstab me, and I'd be like, dang, I didn't know you were that shady. You know, you just don't know. I was like, dang, that's how you're going to do me? And sometimes it's people who look like you. You be like, dog, you know the struggles. You're like, and you're just throwing me under the bus like that. But again, it goes back to, you got to love yourself. You have to know yourself. and we're all human. And so with that, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Let those things that don't serve you go. Understand your self-worth and your value. Love yourself. It's okay to not be in the in crowd. That just means you're a bigger gem and you got more important things to do than be around those people who you're in the in crowd. Somebody said this to me, and I'm going to end it here. It was my massage therapist. She said this to me years ago. So she giving me a massage, and all of a sudden she just starts crying. I was like, what? I was like, what is going on? But there's something about a massage. When you're getting a massage, they're getting rid of all those toxins. They're feeling energy off of you. It's not just to them. It's not just a massage. They're actually working to get things out of you, to get your body conditioned right. And she said, I'm sorry. I just started crying because I really feel, and I'm a Christian. I say it proudly. She is as well. She said, I just really feel that God telling me to tell you, you're not supposed to fit in. You're a diamond. You're not supposed to be with the other people. So stop trying, because that's not where I want you to be. You can't fit in for what I have destined for you to complete in this world. You can't. And so when she said that, and then I was all tore up. So then, I still got my massage, though. It was a great massage.
Flinging snot and kneading out there.
Right. Right. But you need those people, who will speak that life into you as well. And I'm just like you all. I wasn't meant to fit in either. I'm a chameleon. I can go into different places and do different things, but sometimes you're not supposed to be in that in crowd, because that's just not where you're supposed to thrive. That's not what's meant for you. And it's okay.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
It's okay.
Agreed. The old prophetic message technique, massage therapist works every time.
Right?
Every
I was
time.
so grateful. And I needed to hear that at that moment, because I was going through some things at that moment.
Awesome.
It's hard to be a motivator. So I motivate, I encourage, I inspire. That takes a lot of energy. And I'm pulling it out all the time. People are pulling energy from me. I need it back too.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
I need to get filled back up too, because you're pulling. So I need to get it back. And I was having a moment where I was like, I'm motivating and I'm encouraging everybody else. But my God, where are people encouraging me? Because I need it right now. And it came right at the right moment. And that's what I needed to hear in that moment. And that's what I needed.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I didn't name my massage therapist, but you know who you are. So thank you for being you and doing what you knew you needed to do.
And how much for a half hour? Because I don't.
I need some of that.
I need a word. Okay.
Right.
I need a word.
Message.
Right.
Anything else you all would like to add before we wrap it up today?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else to add in to the discussion other than I love what Paula said. You have to be okay with not being the in, right? Realize you are who you are, right? Let that soak in, recognize that, and let yourself be. It is what it is. You are who you're meant to be, right?
Well, I love who you guys are, and I appreciate you all joining us today. Janae, any final messages to the chat? Be cool, stay in school.
I think a lot of people struggle with expressing emotions. And I feel like I'm supposed to say, when you release it, actually release it. And that may come in a form of being alone and releasing it through tears, which a lot of us don't do, because for some reason we've been ingrained to think that crying is a form of weakness. It shows weakness. But really, there's something very freeing and liberating about that type of release. So for anybody out there listening, release it. Let it go.
Love it.
Lord, I felt like that was for me. Jesus. Let it go. Wow. So wait. Wow. Okay. First, I need a moment. Wow. Second, I do want to at least throw up here your all social media details.
Yes.
So that people can stay connected to you, because I think that's really important. So, Lady J, how would you like people to connect in with you? Remember, Lady J is a life coach. Meditation, you heard it, right? She just dropped the mic on the whole episode right there. So share your social media, and then Brian, when she's done, definitely share yours as well. We getting comments now, y'all. See, this is what I'm talking about.
People like you.
Yeah.
Look how cool they look.
Go for it, Lady J. How can people get in contact with you?
Probably the best way would be to follow me on my Instagram. Shoot me a DM there, and I will definitely see it. I may not see it like right away, but that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to have some conversations with you guys.
Awesome. Brian, how can people stay connected with you?
Yeah, there's only one way, and that's LinkedIn. I've never been big on social media, and I think that there's a lot of studies, a lot of conversation we can have surrounding that. Maybe a topic for another time. But yeah, follow me on LinkedIn. Hit me with the DM, and happy to connect and carry on a conversation as well. So, like Lady J, give me a couple of days to respond, but we'll certainly be connected. That's the way to do it.
Awesome. And you can definitely stay connected with Chris and I. I'm all over social, so you all know you can get to me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, the whole nine. Chris is not as active as I am.
I'm like a ninja, okay? If you need to get a hold of me, send out a courier pigeon. It'll get to me one day. I hit a smoke bomb and disappear after these podcasts. So if you need to get a hold of me, you can come to our next episode and you can ask me a question in the chat. So that's how you get a hold of me here.
And our next episode actually is coming up on May 1st. And that's because I have surgery coming up. So we moved it up. And that's going to be a whole, oh my goodness. The guest on that one is going to be amazing. And that one is also about going through storms. And her story is amazing. So I definitely, if you have not subscribed to our channels, definitely do that and get a notification, because we're bringing real life stories to you so that you all can. It's one thing, we don't want to talk at you, but we just want to have conversation. And so we just want, and if you want to be a guest and share your story, come on in. But you know what, Brian and Janae, I think we need to bring you two back for something.
For sure.
Anytime, let me know.
Always open.
I
appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for having me.
Yes, this was great. So that's a wrap, Chris. We hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Thank you for engaging and listening. And Chris always says it, for each one, reach one, teach one. So if you learned something great in this session today, please go ahead and share it with other people and tell them about what you heard. And with that, we're going to be out. But Brian and Lady J, stay on with Chris and I afterwards. But for everyone else, thank you for joining. And hopefully see you on May 1st. Peace out, y'all.
See you next time.
Peace.